One of the challenges we all face in life is that none of us know when we're going to die. If we did know when we were going to die, then we would probably be more proactive about doing the things that we need to do, saying the things we need to say, and taking part in the sort of activities that we enjoy with the people that matter to us. The natural tendency when passing on money is to procrastinate. Probably the biggest reason people hesitate or procrastinate is that they're worried about running out of money. We're not sure when we're going to die, and we're not sure whether we're going to need to pay for expensive care in the meantime. That is an uncomfortable thought for most people. Because they feel that they'll need the money, they'll often hold on to the money until their death and then pass it on via the will. But that causes problems. By doing that, that means that on death, the assets are part of our estate, and we end up paying inheritance tax on that money. That means that up to 40% of everything we own could go to the tax man. And by talking about that earlier and planning earlier, a lot of that is avoidable. There are also two psychological issues that we face when it comes to passing on our wealth. Firstly, we feel a need to leave something, to leave a legacy, if you like, to the people that matter to us. When in reality, it would be better for them and probably more enjoyable to pass on those assets during our lifetime and see them enjoy the benefits of them. Many parents and grandparents are now looking at their children, and they can see that their children have got financial hurdles that they themselves didn't have. The other psychological flaw we've got is we feel compelled to save. We save throughout our working lives, whether that's for retirement or whether that's for some sort of rainy day. And therefore it's psychologically difficult in retirement to move to a position where we start spending and giving money away. We see our net wealth go down. And what that means for many people is that they save throughout the whole of their retirement, leading to a bigger and bigger inheritance tax liability. Taking advice is vital when it comes to passing on your wealth. There's a bewildering array of solutions available, so it's impossible for somebody who's not immersed in it daily to understand what solutions are the most appropriate to use and when. And that's what my team do. On a daily basis, we are looking at what are the solutions that are available, what are the changes in legislation, what's the mood of the government, the demographics, and pulling all that together into a sort of a cohesive approach to putting together solutions for people. At Tilney, we'd stress it's never too late to start planning. It may not be as effective as starting to plan early, but there's usually something we can do that's effective. Recently, we gave advice to a couple who approached us. The only planning they'd done in the past was to write a will, which effectively left everything to each other on first death and then to the children on second death. Because the value that's above 2 million, they wouldn't benefit from the recently introduced residence nil rate band. So all in all, they were looking at a tax bill of around £820,000. So the nil rate bands aren't something that many people are aware of. It's the amount that you're allowed to have in your estate before you start paying inheritance tax. So each individual has got a nil rate band of £325,000. But if you don't use it on your death, then it can pass to your spouse. So our advisor spoke to them, found out about what they were trying to achieve, about their past history, about how their assets were arranged. He found out that they'd been widowed in the past. Both of them had been widowed in the past. And simply by changing the wills, rather than having two nil rate bands available, one for husband and one for wife, we were able to capture the nil rate bands of the late husband and the late wife. So in effect, we managed to increase their allowances from £650,000 to £1.3 million. And then in addition to that, we made a gift of £500,000, which helped to keep them below that £2 million figure, which meant that their residence nil rate bands were also available. So the bottom line was that if they died shortly after the planning, which they didn't, but if they did, they would have saved £400,000 in inheritance tax. And if they do happen to survive until the 7-year point, then they'll save £600,000 in inheritance tax. The thing that people should focus on is firstly planning early and not being afraid to take small steps to start off with. The later you leave it, the more aggressive really you have to be with your approach. Secondly, to take advice It is a complicated area. There's lots of solutions available, so they need to find somebody who is comfortable in this area and knows what they're playing at. Thirdly, they need a plan. Rather than just giving money away here and there, they need to think about, a coordinated approach, but not being afraid to change that plan as situations change. And finally, don't let the tax tail wag the dog, because if you focus on the tax saving, then it's very easy to get led into solutions and into products that can put your financial security at risk. For most people, there's little enjoyment in saving tax. The enjoyment comes from helping the people that matter and seeing the impact that that has on their lives.